Good day, guys. My name is Sinisha, and I'm going to talk about Tengai for the next 15 minutes or so. I will tell you all about what Tengai is, how it conducts its interviews and score candidates, and also something I think you should be interested in, that lessons learned, things we have learned developing Tengai during these 3 years. But I will start by sharing my screen, and I will, of course, start with a family picture of me and Tengai. We've been together for 3 years. No, sorry. I've been developing Tengai for 3 years, but I did have a life before Tengai. That was actually in the recruitment industry for 12, 13, 14 years, something like that. At different companies, and my last company, Tengai, a Swedish recruitment company, that has always been very innovative when it comes to unbiased recruitment and selection of candidates, where we actually came in contact with Furhat Robotics. This was back in 2018, when Furhat Robotics showed us Furhat Robot, its platform, and we were instantly interested in a collaboration in developing a robot that could interview candidates. That was the vision then, and that's definitely a vision today. So what we did, we started a collaboration and project where we started developing Tengai. And that has resulted in a company today. It's called Tengai Unbiased, and that's where I am a chief product officer, or robot trainer that most of people used to call me. Today, Tengai, what it does, it conducts interviews with job applicants, candidates, asks them questions, and then scores them according to a Tengai framework. So Tengai today consists of, you could say, 3 products. Tengai framework, I will tell you about this later. Tengai interview suite, and also a Tengai robot. Tengai to interview software that we have, it's called Tengai Recruit, and it's done for recruiters to handle both assignment, candidates, and also scoring that is a result of an interview with Tengai. We have a Tengai robot and also a Tengai framework. When we first started working with, or our first actually release of Tengai, was that candidate needed to meet Tengai face-to-face at the office, at client's office, or wherever interviews were conducted. But COVID pandemic has made us move Tengai to a video app, to FaceTime call. So how it's done today is that candidates book their own interviews, and then conduct interview or do an interview in their phones, FaceTime, using whatever video app they want. They get their questions, they answer, and then Tengai scores them, and that's how recruiters know which candidate they should move on with. When it comes to scoring, I will talk later about how Tengai behaves through lessons learned. But when it comes to scoring and how the thing that recruiters are interested in is through this framework that it's called Tengai Performance Indicator. This is something that we have developed together with researchers and scientists at Stockholm's University. And it consists of 2 things. That's actually how these Tengai questions are divided by. You have a personality indicator. That's actually statements that Tengai asks candidate, and candidate needs to make a statement, make a decision regarding that statement, either positive or negative. And then the follow-up statement is based on that answer. That's where we use NLU and ASRR to understand what candidate has said, and then build on follow-up questions on that. As soon as the interview is done, personality indicator also is scored, and recruiter has its first recommendation of which candidates have scored highest, and they could move on with them further into the recruitment. Tengai also asks for past behavior questions. That's part of behavior indicator. These questions are not in some way interpreted by Tengai or NLU. What it's done, they are recorded as audio files, and then it's up to the recruiter to listen to them and score them according to a grading system that we have. So what happens is that Tengai asks these questions, records them, and then it's up to the recruiter to like grade these answers. These two put together result in a performance indicator, TPI as we call it, and that's where the recruiter gets its top list. So everyone that meets Tengai gets the same questions, the same 20 questions, basic questions. There are follow-ups, and in a structured way, unbiased, as Tengai will always ask them questions in exactly the same way. And then recruiter gets the decision, gets their decision based on this TPI. I would like to move on to lessons learned, because I think that could be also a bit very interesting for you that are developing your own social robots. There are a lot of lessons learned when we have created and developed Tengai. I have taken with me some of them. There are a lot more. Maybe we can discuss this in a Q&A after this presentation. Feel free to ask whatever you are interested of. How we started developing Tengai. I mean, we were a couple of recruiters that did not know anything about robotics or coding or anything, but we did know something about human-to-human interaction. With that said, nobody of us has ever like written down like what happens when two people meet, two people that are unknown to each other, and one is supposed to ask questions, and the other one is to follow and answer them. Well, what we did find out that there are several cues or back channels or behavior that humans do in order to like connect to each other, to create a rapport. And that led us to humor. So Tengai, in its introduction of an interview, it asks questions about the weather. It jokes about if candidate, this is the first time candidate is meeting a robot, and with a couple of more occasions. And that's only because we want to like get candidate to feel more relaxed, to get in the mood for the questions that can be pretty hard to answer. We also noticed that Swedish people or Swedish culture, the one thing you do as a person, as a human, to get the other one to understand that you are listening to them is by humming. And that can sound like this. That's how Swedish people let you know that I'm listening to you. I understand. I will want to make you comfortable. So that's also something that Tengai does. It hums. And that's how people also like, okay, she or he is listening to me. The thing is, when it comes to English version of Tengai, because Tengai speaks both Swedish and English, is that English people, I mean English-speaking people, candidates that we have interviewed, and also let Tengai hum as a back channel, they have come back to us and said like, why is it doing this? It's interrupting me. It's not natural. We went back, looked at some more like videos, and also like news interviews and a couple of more interviews that are done in English-speaking countries, specifically UK and US mostly, and they do not hum. So of course, Tengai will not hum in English version. Down the road, when we develop in some more languages, definitely we will take a look at cultural differences and make Tengai behave after that. Then, of course, we have controlling dialogue, because it's very, very important for us to control what is being asked, what is being said, and what is response to what candidate has said. The questions, asking the right questions is very, very important. you need to have questions like more precise. They should not be able to interpret. I mean, the candidate should not be interpreted in a different way. So we have put a tremendous amount of time in asking the right questions. Of course, with right response, but the question is very, very important. We also wanted to like interpret or try to understand what candidate is saying. And realize that contextual understanding is very, very difficult. That's like something of a holy grail for us, to be able to understand what candidates are actually saying in a longer answer. So we have instead focused on positive and negative answers. So I told you about these statements regarding personality indicator. Well, that's where we use it. Tengai asks questions. Candidate can answer either yes or no, or give a longer answer, and Tengai or NLU and ASR is trying to understand what is if this is positive or negative answer, and build the follow-up questions on that. And then we also have something that we call dynamic pauses. That's actually one of the first features that we have that are based on statistics. And that is that different people talk in different way, make different pauses, longer, shorter. They get insecure in the middle of the answer, so the pauses get longer. And one of the challenges that we have is, when is a human done with talking, so that the Tengai can move on to the next question. So this has resulted in 3 different levels of listening time. We have short, medium, long, depending on how candidate's answer is and how it's behaving, how is it talking. And this has definitely brought interruptions resulted in less interruptions than before. Then we have, of course, candidate feedback, because I mean, until now we have done more than 2,000 interviews with job applicants, so we do get a lot of feedback, and one of the interesting things is that they tend to give more honest answers. This is definitely because they are not being judged. There is no one else on the other side that is either smiling or making some other face expression that candidate could understand as negative. They do definitely have a shorter answers, because there is not much like small talk that you could have with a human being, but they're more honest. And the other thing is also that they are not perceiving Tengai as a robot, but as a human after like second or third question. And that's also something that we have been consistent since, I would say, like the first interview that Tengai ever did. Could be that the human being wants to answer this question that has been asked. There are a lot of more feedbacks that I could talk about, but this is like a small glimpse of Tengai world. I thank you for your time. I thank also Furhat Robotics for letting me talk about Tengai and what we've been doing. And I hope you have a lot of questions for me. I will gladly answer them. Thank you very much.